G'day, Steel Nation. I think it's Kenny season. And the reason I say that is the NFL media is going crazy. And today, guys, I want to show you some articles, some pictures, some thoughts from the NFL media around Kenny Pickett. And let's start off the show hard and fast with my mate, Chad Rudor. Mr. Rudor or Router, he's apparently a draft analyst, whoever that bloke is. I don't know who he is, but he's got credentials and he's on NFL.com. So let's see what he has to say about Kenny Pickett. He says here the first quarterback off the board in 2022 draft has performed well in his two preseason games. I agree with that. He entered the win over the Jags in the second quarter and made a couple of strong throws right off the bat, one moving to his left and the other into the zone coverage hole. He threw a powerful on-time slant for a big gain. I think that was to DJ as well in his second series. And then he showed excellent timing and a touch on the seam throw to tight end Pat Frymouth was also bloody amazing to see. Standing in the pocket with a man in his face. Yep, he said, no way, mate. You're not going to get to me. I'm going to throw that football right to Frymouth. All right. He then had a touchdown pass called back to a penalty, which was to DJ. But then running back Benny Snell made a catch in the flat on the next play and scored. The 2021 ACC Player of the Year looked like a professional quarterback. I agree with you, Mr. Rudor. I agree. Let's go on the next one. We also have the ratings. Pittsburgh Steelers on CBS Sports, on Facebook, Twitter, wherever you find it, right? Kenny Pickett was the highest rating quarterback among these rookies in the preseason, like in two games. 138.6. Absolutely insane. And apparently, according to Pittsburgh Steelers CBS Sports as well, that is the highest rating since 2015. So we have Skylar Thompson, 121.3, Desmond Ridder with the Falcons, 98, Brock Purdy, 86, Malik Willis with the Titans, 80.5, and then so on and so forth. It goes all the way down to Matt Corral. So Kenny Pickett has performed absolutely unbelievable in two games, and the ratings say so. Let's go into the next one. We have our mate Dan Orlowski. Now, let's premise the fact. Myself, Mark from Steel Nation Australia, and from the Pittsburgh Steelers Syndicate, whatever Dan says, take with a grain of salt. Because remember, Dan was the guy that ran out the football into it. He made his own safety. He didn't know, he didn't understand the rules, and he ran the football all the way back to the end zone and stepped out of bounds and got 2 points. So remember that. So take that with a grain of salt. I don't really take with much credibility what he says. However, he does say this: made real big time down the field NFL throws while being hit or under duress, and did it quickly with great tempo and placement on throws, and his feet never wavered. Very impressive game. Well, what impressed me the most, Dan, is that he didn't go outside the end zone for a safety. So that's kind of comical too. Let's go to one of our favorites in Pittsburgh. Jenna Jaynes cleanly states Kenny Pickett threw two preseason games, 19 for 22, 171 yards, 3 TDs, and 142.05 QBR. Now, that in relation to the other QBR is a little bit different, 138.6, but it's around the exact same. And she is on the money right there. He's only had 3 incompletions, 171 yards, and 3 TDs. Kenny Pickett is on fire. Absolutely on fire. So far, of the articles, the pictures, and the media members I've brought up, they like Kenny Pickett, don't they? They really like Kenny Pickett. Let's go to the next guy. I got a few left. All right. Adam Schefter. Essentially, as soon as Mitchell Trubisky has a stumble, that will open the door to get Kenny Pickett in. Now, Schefter said this on NFL Live. He talked about Mitchell Trubisky, talked about Kenny Pickett. What are his chances getting in? So basically, he's saying, I guess, the Pittsburgh Steelers will start with Trubisky at number 1. However, if Trubisky does start to fail or go, play average, then Kenny Pickett will come straight in. I tend to agree with that too, Schefter. I tend to agree. Let's go to another favorite. Another favorite of mine, Bob Pompei says, Steelers rookie quarterback Kenny Pickett was very impressive again. His 2-game body of work reveals same amount of touchdown passes as incompletions. So he has 3 touchdowns and 3 incomplete passes. And also, we have to remind too, Bob Pompei as well, that one of those incompletions was a spike to stop the clock. So in reality, he only really has 2 incomplete passes. Now, the best one I want to say for last, because it kind of stirs up maybe the quarterback controversy that is it going to be Pickett? Is it going to be Mitchell Trubisky? Here's the last one I want to show you guys, right? This came from cornerback Dangelo Hall when asked about who should be quarterback number one for the Steelers. He said this: I see a little Joe Burrow in Kenny Pickett. Isn't that crazy? Joe Burrow, who went to the Super Bowl, Joe Burrow, who's leading the Bengals, and Joe Burrow, who's really a fantastic quarterback. No matter what you want to say as a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, I hate the Bengals. I can't stand the Bengals. But Joe Burrow is a good quarterback, and he's got good receivers around him. And also, knowing the fact, too, that Dangelo Hall is a cornerback, he played against quarterbacks all his life, right? So that must mean something to show and see that Hall says, I see a little bit of Joe Burrow in Kenny Pickett. Now, the reason I brought this picture, what do you think of this, Steeler Nation? What do you think of this? Here's my question for the day. And I might even make this the pinned comment, right? What do you think of this? Will we see Kenny Pickett versus Joe Burrow week 1 of the 2022 season? I'll leave you with that. Will we see Kenny Pickett week 1 versus Joe Burrow in the 2022 season? Is it Kenny's season? Let me know your comments below. And as always, here we go, Steelers. Here we go.